Back in 1988, Trump wasn't just a businessman, he was already sounding alarms about America getting ripped off in trade.
You took out a full-page ad in major U.S. newspapers last year criticizing U.S. foreign policy. What would you do differently, Donald?
I'd make our allies, forgetting about the enemies you can't talk to so easily, I'd make our allies pay their fair share. We're a debtor nation. Something's going to happen over the next number of years with this country, because you can't keep going on losing $200 billion, and yet we let Japan come in and dump everything right into our markets and everything. It's not free trade. If you ever go to Japan right now and try to sell something, forget about it, Oprah. Just forget about it. It's almost impossible. They don't have laws against it. They just make it impossible. They come over here, they sell their cars, their VCRs, they knock the hell out of our companies. And, hey, I have tremendous respect for the Japanese people. I mean, you can respect somebody that's beating the hell out of you, but they are beating the hell out of this country. Kuwait, they live like kings. The poorest person in Kuwait, they live like kings. And yet they're not paying. We make it possible for them to sell their oil. Why aren't they paying us 25% of what they're making? It's a joke.
He blasted Japan for flooding U.S. markets while shutting out American products, calling it a joke that hurt the country. His frustration with unfair deals wasn't new. It was baked into his worldview long before politics. Trump's sharp criticism even targeted wealthy allies like Kuwait, questioning why they lived like kings while America paid the price. This wasn't empty talk. Decades later, those same fiery trade policies defined his presidency. It's like watching a blueprint for his political rise. But Trump's tough talk wasn't just bluster. It had real consequences. And what happened next would shock everyone. Trump's fierce protection of American business wasn't just talk. It was a warning shot to world leaders. Take his showdown with France's Emmanuel Macron, where Trump threatened 100% tariffs on French wines if they moved forward with taxes on American companies. This wasn't typical diplomacy, a bold negotiation tactic, backed by a businessman who treats every move like a negotiation.
I said, Emmanuel, how are you? He said, fine. I said, I heard you're going to charge American companies 25% to do things in Mexico. Who else are you doing? Well, nobody yet, but we will do other. I said, no, but you're not going to do it, Emmanuel. You're not going to, no, Donald, it has already passed. I said, well, you better unpass it, because if you don't unpass it, you're going to pay a 100% tariff on all wines and champagnes that are shipped into the United States starting tonight. No, you cannot do that, Donald. You cannot do that. I said, I can do that. In fact, I'm just signing it right now. No. Okay, Donald, look, okay, we're not going to do it.
His approach made waves, sometimes sparking trade wars, but it also showed a leader unafraid to shake the table. That same tough stance later exploded in massive tariffs on Chinese goods, aiming to fix what he saw as years of unfair trade. Behind the chaos was a pattern, a man obsessed with never getting played. But the story gets even more intense. Even in 1988, Trump wasn't shy about his ambitions. He openly admitted he might run for president one day and that he'd win. Not because he had a political plan, but because he believed no one else was tough enough to stop the country from being ripped off.
This sounds like political presidential talk to me, and I know people have talked to you about whether or not you want to run. Would you ever?
Probably not, but I do get tired of seeing the country ripped off.
Why would you not?
I just don't think I really have the inclination to do it. I love what I'm doing. I really like it.
Also, it doesn't pay as well.
No, it doesn't. But, I just probably wouldn't do it, Oprah. I probably wouldn't, but I do get tired of seeing what's happening with this country, and if it got so bad, I would never want to rule it out totally.
His confidence wasn't just ego, it was a core part of his appeal to voters who wanted someone bold and unfiltered. This same unshakable self-belief carried him from real estate into the White House. Yet, from the outside, it sometimes looks less like confidence and more like delusion. But maybe that's exactly why his base sticks with him. They see authenticity in his swagger, even if it's controversial. And if Trump's ego fuels his pride, Biden's past reveals a very different story.
When I spoke about the difference between Trump and me, one of the things I talked about on the border was that the way he talks about vermin, the way he talks about these people polluting the blood. I talked about what I'm not going to do, what I won't do. I'm not going to treat any of these people with disrespect. Look, they built the country. The reason our economy is growing. We have to control the border and more orderly flow, but I don't share his view at all.
So you regret using that word?
Yes.
Joe Biden's past on social issues paints a very different picture from the confident Trump blueprint. Not too long ago, Biden openly opposed marriage, backing the Defense of Marriage Act that defined marriage strictly as between a man and a woman. His stance was clear, firm, and rooted in the political climate of the time. But fast forward to today, and Biden's influencers to the White House, championing causes he once resisted. To some, this looks like growth. To others, it's a flip-flop driven by the changing tides of culture and politics, a man adapting his views to fit what's popular, not what's personal. This kind of change raises a question. Is it genuine evolution or calculated image management? But that's not the only controversy that's surfaced. Biden's words have also stirred confusion and debate, especially on immigration. In a tense moment, he apologized for calling an undocumented immigrant illegal after a deadly incident, quickly shifting to undocumented to soften the impact. His careful wording highlights how sensitive this topic has become and how political it is. Biden contrasts sharply with Trump's blunt, often harsh language about immigrants, aiming instead to show respect while still promising border control. But for many, Biden's shifting language only adds to the question. Is he speaking his true beliefs or simply echoing what sounds right at the moment? This uncertainty has fueled skepticism about whether Biden leads with conviction or convenience. And the differences between these two men go even deeper. Donald Trump and Joe Biden couldn't be more different, not just in policy, but in how they present themselves. Trump's stubborn consistency, even when controversial, builds a clear pattern voters can follow. His bluntness might offend, but it screams authenticity. Biden, on the other hand, seems to shift with the cultural winds, often changing stances to align with the moment. For some, that's flexibility. For others, it's a lack of backbone. These patterns shape how millions see them, not just as politicians, but as symbols of what America stands for. The question remains, do voters prefer a leader who stands firm or one who evolves with the times? The answer might define the future of American politics. What this means going forward is anything but predictable. Looking back at Trump's 1988 boldness and Biden's evolving positions today reveals more than politics. It exposes two distinct visions of leadership. Trump's unyielding confidence and fierce defense of American interests appeal to those craving strength and clarity. Biden's shifting stance suggests a leader trying to balance progress with political survival, but leaves some wondering if it's conviction or convenience guiding his choices. In a nation deeply divided, these contrasting approaches fuel the debate over what kind of leader America truly needs. Are voters drawn to raw authenticity, or is adaptability the key to survival in a fast-changing world? As history unfolds, this tension will shape not just elections, but the soul of the country itself. What side will history remember? That's a question worth pondering.